Okay, hello, and welcome to this eCampus News webinar, Preparing for Back to School with Transact Mobile Ordering, a powerful tool to enforce social distancing. My name is Kevin Hogan. I am the editor-at-large for eSchool News, and I'm excited to have you join us for what should be a very informative session. Before we get started, we wanted to ask you, the audience, a few questions. Chris, if you could pull them up, the poll questions. Okay, number one, do you currently have or are you planning on implementing a mobile ordering solution on your campus in the next 6 to 12 months? So you can see your various options there from which to select, and we'll give you a few moments to contemplate an answer. Great. And Chris, at your availability to move to poll question number 2. So why are you looking to implement a mobile ordering solution in your campus? To create contactless payments, increase revenue, improve student experience, drive marketing and communications with students? There might be all of the above as well to that one. So I'll give you a few more seconds to click those answers. Great, and so at this point, I have the pleasure of going ahead and turning things over to Matt. Matt, over to you.
All right, thank you very much, Kevin, and really appreciate it. First, I'd like to thank eCampus News for having us and hosting this webinar today. Special thanks to those behind the scenes with eCampus, as well as Tranzact, for making this webinar possible. My name is Matthew Drummond, Senior Solutions Engineer with Tranzact. Tranzact is the leader in innovative payment solutions for a connected campus. Our highly configurable, mobile-centric campus technology ecosystem simplifies the student experience across the entire full spectrum of student life. Tranzact's offerings include an integrated solutions for tuition and other student expense payments, multi-purpose campus IDs, including mobile credentials for Apple and Google Wallets, and campus commerce. With our long-standing reputation of serving the higher education community, we proudly assist millions of students each year with our innovative products and solutions. For more information about Tranzact, please visit www.transactcampus.com. Now today, as Kevin mentioned, our topic for the webinar today is preparing for back to school with Tranzact Mobile Ordering, a powerful tool to enforce social distancing. Today, I am thrilled and excited to be joined by 3 of our industry leaders who are representing 3 institutions that are using Tranzact Mobile Ordering. Melody Chow, Associate Director of Retail and Catering at Tufts University. Tamara DeSanti, Campus Technology Operations Manager at Grand Canyon University. And Carla Gibson, Director, BuzzCard for the Georgia Institute of Technology, or better known as Georgia Tech. Welcome to the webinar today. Melody, welcome. Can you please tell us a little bit about yourself and Tufts University?
Sure thing. Thanks, Matt. My name is Melody Chow. I'm the Associate Director of Retail and Catering. I oversee 8 retail locations in the catering department at Tufts University on our Medford, Somerville, and the Boston Fenway campus. Along with retail and catering, we operate 2 all-you-care-to-eat residential dining centers, along with a central commissary. We offer block-style meal plans and presently offer up to 2 meal swipes to be used per meal period. First and second year students are required to be on meal plans. Our catering department was repurposed as quarantine and isolation delivery service providers this academic year. Tufts is a private institution, primarily based out of the Medford, Somerville, Massachusetts. We reopened campus this fall semester with both in-person and remote learning. We reopened all but 1 retail dining location. Mobile ordering played a critical role in the reopening under many COVID guidelines and was made available at all locations. I'm happy to be here today and to share more about our partnership with Tranzact.
All right, thank you very much, Melody. I appreciate it. Next, I'd like to welcome Tamara. Tamara, thank you for joining us today. Tell us a little bit about yourself and Grand Canyon University.
Thanks, Matt. Hi, everyone. My name is Tamara DeSanti. I work at Grand Canyon University here in the heart of Phoenix. I am the campus technology operations manager, so I oversee all of food services, implementations, and the equipment that goes into it, and seeing that it gets all installed by working with Matt and the Transact team. We just got the mobile ordering app last year, so we're very fresh to it, looking to expand for the rest of the year. The new students coming back and seeing how we can do that. Grand Canyon is a private college university, and yeah, we're excited to expand with Transact and be here and kind of share our experience of what we learned implementing this mobile ordering app.
All right. Thank you very much, Tamara. I really appreciate it. And Carla, great to see you. Thanks for joining us today. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and Georgia Tech?
Absolutely. Good afternoon, and thanks so much for having me, Matt. I'm Carla Gibson. I am Director of BuzzCard here on the campus of Georgia Institute of Technology. In my role, I am responsible for all card production and all of the technology that engages with the card across campus. I'm also responsible for all auxiliary services technology. So that includes dining, retail, vending, and bookstore. You can see from our stats, Georgia Tech has 16,562 undergrad, and we've got more graduate students now than we do undergrad. And that is absolutely awesome. And the real crazy thing about that is that we've got almost as many online master's program students as we do undergraduates. So folks are excited about what we have to offer here at Georgia Tech, and we are as well. We are a year into mobile ordering, and I'm excited to talk about just kind of our journey to mobile ordering, how it's impacted campus up to today, and then what we have in store coming up. We're going self-op this year, so just a whole lot happening, and mobile ordering is right in the middle of everything.
All right, awesome. Sounds great, Carla. Wow, that's really big. I mean, I thought I went to a big campus at 17,000 students. I can only imagine what it's like there in the heart of Atlanta. So starting with today's discussion, one of the things I think that we have all experienced, each of us on the panel, everybody out in the audience as well, is how much things have changed for us personally and professionally over this past year. So Melody, when you look at Tufts, you had mentioned a little bit of it in your introduction there, but how has Tufts kind of changed? You had in-person and remote learning. So how did that change over from like a 2019?
I mean, in order to respond to welcoming back all students this past fall semester, we had to find ways for students to access all dining locations on campus, as dining centers were already overcrowding pre-COVID. We decided to allow meal swipes to be used at all locations for this academic year to reduce crowding and to allow for proper social distancing. We implemented mobile ordering in August of 2020. Aside from wanting to have mobile ordering over these years, there were many benefits, such as the ability to contract trace, if needed, through having historical data of where and when students dined in our locations, along with contactless payment methods. In addition, students have been asking for more ways to pre-order for pickup. Our residential dining centers moved to reservation and takeout style service. Our retail dining locations moved to takeout and kiosk ordering service. And lastly, our catering department moved to a delivery service to students in quarantine and isolation. And as a result, we had 100% adoption of mobile ordering, as it was the only way for students to order food on campus.
So you were 100% mobile order for all of your dining. That's amazing. So that means you had to really count on this Transact mobile ordering app to work, relying on that technology and everything. And I think, looking at the numbers that we've seen through it is a pretty successful high rate of orders that have been going through. So Tamara, did you see a lot of change at Grand Canyon? Did y'all have in-person remote learning? Did a lot of things change on campus?
I mean, yeah, definitely. Like everyone across the nation, we saw an increase of people go home. Even our employees, a lot could say our campus was pretty dim when the virus hit. We finished out that last year remote learning. This year, that just passed, we increased the people on campus, but we also had to accommodate to the social distancing and all of those safety protocols in place, and mobile ordering helped us do that.
Okay. And Carla, how did this really change life, campus life at Georgia Tech? I mean, it was kind of crazy trying to come through a lot of these different things that were happening at one time, it seemed like.
Yeah, it was absolutely crazy. I just remember when we went home in March, of 2020, none of us knew what was going to happen. And then, we had to continue to serve our students as well as our faculty, even working remotely, and when that Transact mobile ordering app was really even foundational for us in the Buzz Card office, because we could offer folks the ability to submit that photo through a link in the app. So we were able to kind of, ramp down staffing, when folks came back or were coming back to campus, we were able to offer them the ability to submit that photo and then make an appointment, to come in to pick that picture up. And then when students got back to campus, it was ramped up to 1,000. And I don't know whether you want to get into this right now, but we've got a great story to tell. That whole path. So we'll just hold it for when you ask the question.
So that's a great teaser. We're just going to keep the audience wanting a little bit more there, right? Just what the appetite there. So Tamara, you talked about kind of your campus was kind of dim there for a while, and then as you're looking at them coming back, so what was the student experience like? How did that impact the student experience? I mean, usually we're telling all these students, come to college, have this great experience on campus and things like that, but how did that really impact the student experience?
Yeah, so I'm sure it's the same for your guys' campuses, but we really thrive on student events. We encourage all of our students to come together, to be one, to really embrace the college experience. So not being able to do that, or not even letting them be inside and sit together and just have lunch together, that was a huge hit to our college experience for our students. And they were definitely looking for something else to take the place of that, or amend that just a little bit so they can feel like they were in college and not stuck in a prison.
So, I mean, Carla, did you see, I mean, you just talked about it there. It was a different way for them to submit photos, to, interact with your office. I mean, a lot of times we're wanting to have that personal touch a little bit and shepherd them through a process, but what was the impact there?
Couldn't do it. And that first year experience and standing in that card production line, that's probably the slowest and longest line of the new student experience. And that was just something that we couldn't do. Our campus actually started kind of the move towards needing to be mobile before COVID hit, because we had our student center to come down. So we had nowhere to hold our, or nowhere to host our new student activities, let alone a Buzz Card production line. So we had to start thinking about things, even before COVID hit. So really OPS via the app was a lifesaver for us, for students to be able to submit their photo. We were able to, grab those photos and pre-produce those cards.
Right.
And then, as a part of that whole, let's go to college thing, but let's go to college and be safe. We had an AVP that was all about the new student experience and just rolling out the red carpet. We had to welcome these students with a sense of safety and home that they've never seen before. So our housing folks came up with this drive-through check-in, and we were able to use the mobile ordering app. The students were able to present their photos. We were able to pre-produce those cards, package them in their move-in packages. And so they drove through and checked in. So that eliminated 2 or 3 lines. You got lines and you got nervous parents. So that was we were able to really impact that first impression and, welcome them with that feeling of safety and home, with an emphasis on safety.
Yeah, I think drive-through was the buzzword of the year for everybody, whether it was for food, groceries, lumber. By the way, there's a lumber shortage for that here. So, but Melody, you went through a lot of changes, right? You made that decision to go 100% mobile, but and you've made that changes to some of your dining. So how much of that is going to carry into this fall as we start people looking into opening up for the fall? Is that are you going to see a change there, or what are you carrying forward into this fall that you've learned?
I think two things that kind of come to mind for our campus is push notification and inbox messaging. It is such a powerful tool, and we'll continue to use it over and over again. We learned about the successes in the way that we communicate and how quickly students respond to things like pop-up events, themed dinners, giveaways, etc. For example, our catering team did pop-up dinners during the fall semester when quarantine deliveries were low. When we sent a push notification, we saw a ton of orders come through almost immediately. We also had giveaways and shared information with students and had thousands of entries. Secondly, due to COVID, contactless payment methods is definitely here to stay. We are looking to move away from cash transactions in multiple locations for the upcoming fall semester, which will probably speed up the lines and also mean less room for cash handling error.
Okay, that's awesome. Now, I'm going to jump on that real quickly because you mentioned kind of a buzzword there, because Carla and I have had discussions before about this inbox messaging stuff, right? That the Transact mobile ordering app itself has really become a communications tool. It's not just for food ordering, right? And Carla, I think you were doing something unique. You were talking about, we were discussing coming up over the summer here with inbox messages. Or you've been doing them, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, we've absolutely been using inbox messaging, since the beginning of last year when we were giving students the instruction on how to create that reservation for the drive-through check-in. So, we still have, about 10,000 active users right now, but we were giving them that instruction. And then, of course, we rolled in those week of welcome meal events where they would also reserve their spot, for their meal event during week of welcome. And we communicated, just all the time, just giving them instruction and, look fors and to-dos and quick hints. This year, we are moving to support our off-campus program. We have teamed with, of course, several off-campus merchants to support our dining program. And we're going to use the mobile app as a marketing tool for our off-campus vendors. We've put a link in the mobile ordering app so that they can see the off-campus merchants, they can see
That's
those
great.
menus. And so we can support those merchants by, hey, putting a message out there about their limited time offer or their special for Buzz Card users or, those types of things. So we're going off campus with mobile as well.
Okay, gotcha. If you don't mind me asking now, does that seem to be a potential revenue opportunity?
It absolutely is. We built it into the agreement with our merchants. Of course, there's the transaction, their transaction fees, but then we'll also be able to charge them a little bit for marketing as well as for the upkeep of the terminal. Okay.
Tamara, Melody, there's another good idea for everybody's asking for a revenue stream, right? That seems to be the big thing today is how do we get creative in trying to find new revenue streams? And I think that's one of the great things with Transact mobile ordering is giving you the ability to look at other areas around campus and using it, right? I mean, Melody, you mentioned about contactless payments in that way, but we're all saying, yeah, we're ready to come back for the fall. We're seeing a lot of things out in the news nowadays about some of the challenges that people are having. For those of us that are getting ready to travel here soon, we're seeing a shortage in rental cars as they're trying to get the production back up. I saw a story about flowers for Mother's Day as well, right? There's a lot of different types of roadblocks. And Tamara, I know that you are getting ready to expand. You had mentioned that you had just started out, you had 4 locations. I know you're expanding 14 locations because I did work on those this morning. So I do have a day job for that one. So I was working on those this morning. But what are going to be some of the things that might be challenges for you getting that many locations ready for the fall, right? There's different things that come into play. I don't know, each of you are in different states, so our state regulations or school mandates come into play on how you're going to have to update and get your operations ready for back to school.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing that comes to my mind that we saw when we first implemented the thing is the change has to come within. So getting all of those locations staffed and trained and ready to go, and getting them ready, because the kids love technology now. Technology is not going anywhere. It's just
Yeah.
getting better. So a lot of the kids know mobile ordering from DoorDash and things like that. So having that available to them is going to have to start with us, getting us on board, getting everyone in the locations, the 14 locations we're going to expand to, and really get them ready to go, to create that experience. We keep talking about the student experience, and if you order something and you get it 40 minutes late, that's not a great experience. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So was that the main driver for expanding this? Is it students really, hey, this is what I can do out in the real world. I want to have that same experience here on campus.
definitely, we want to keep some consistency. That's what we've noticed with our kids. They love consistency. They love feeling like they're on their own. So if you could do it in the real world, why can't I do it at college? So we want to implement that and allow them to, well, I have class back to back, but I really want to get lunch in between. So I'm going to order ahead and pick something up and be on my way.
So now, in Tamara, I'm going to stick with you on this one, because this is one of the more fascinating things, and we're going to get to all of you because I want your input on this one. Is we've talked about communications, right? That we can communicate within the app and everything. We have our own processes, right? We all, my former experience there with orientation, we have a plan, a set mechanism to be able to alert the first year students about everything that they're going to experience when they come in. They don't know any better, right? So you're able to tell them this is how it's done. What about those students who were there on campus in 2019 to early 2020 that may have not come back to campus this year? You've made all of these changes. How are you communicating to that group? There's typically not a normal avenue for that. I mean, how are you letting the students know you're going to have 14 new locations to order for mobile ordering?
Yeah, I mean, here at GCU, our marketing team is great. So we have a daily newsletter that goes out to all the students, and that's our main contact with them. For the first years, we do an orientation during Welcome Week, and we're really excited to partner with our marketing team to get some slides made so they know how to download it. We can show them we're everywhere now, and just create that excitement at Welcome Week. And the greatest thing with this app that I've seen is it's word of mouth. If you create something so exciting on your campus, it's going to get around. So a lot of our kids are excited of where we're going with mobile ordering.
So you're not out there making your own TikTok videos or?
No, not yet. That's in the plans if we have to, but not yet.
Yeah. Anything to get the word out there.
Yeah, exactly.
So Melody, how is Tufts reaching out to the students, especially if you were, pretty high volume of mobile ordering coming back? So how do the students who may have been remote this year going to look at changes that think, hey, I want to go into DeWitt or Carmichael to eat? Is that going to be an option? How are you getting the word out to them?
Sure. I believe that, our move-in for this upcoming fall semester will be somewhat similar to what it was last year, which is how we got all the students to actually sign up and create an account. So during the move-in period, they would have to come across our table. And most likely for this year, we'll ask each and every single student if they have the Transact mobile app on their phones. And if they don't, we're going to walk them through that process and help them place their first order so that they know how to use it and just the ease of using the mobile app as well. So we expect a high success rate in terms of getting all new and returning students, for those who may have been all remote last year, to have this app and just having this great tool so that they can have more convenience and placing their orders and saving some time as well without having to wait in line to get food.
Yeah. And so Carla, I was trying to think if I remember correctly. I think you had some students that kind of showed up, and then there might have been a stop-start to some of the semester a little bit, going home. But how are those students coming back now? You're advertised through the app, but maybe if they don't have the app, how are you reaching out to them?
And you know what? We have a great marketing team as well here from auxiliary services and campus services. They're getting those newsletters out as well. But then we've got the benefit of going self-op. And so we've got tech dining here, you know, new in the fall, and they're just rolling it all out. So tech dining is going to go big. Of course, they're trying to, you know, get those. We definitely have the first year students that are required to have the meal plan, but then we're trying to pull in those students that, you know, second and third year might not get that plan. And then we're, you know, adding in the buzz around town, or the off-campus arm to, you know, dining as well, or those off-campus locations as well. So just kind of trying to make it a complete dining experience where they can go to the four corners of campus and know that they can, you know, have a really neat dining
Right.
experience. So we are really taking advantage of, you know, our marketing department as well.
All right, great. I think we have a couple of questions that have come in from our audience. And so I want to take a look at that, Jennifer.
Yeah, absolutely. So we do have a few questions, so let's go through them. First question we have is, does Transact work with outside vendors such as Aramark? And if so, how does it work? Is there a software contract with the school and not the outside vendor?
All right, so I guess I'm going to be the one taking that that question on there. So yes, Transact works with the various dining service providers, Aramark, Compass, Sodexo, Elior, Aladdin, other ones out there as well. The key there is going to be mainly depending on the campus. We have worked directly with the campus who has a dining service provider that's kind of on the back end, or we have worked directly with Aramark. We do have some of our key representatives with Transact that have a direct relationship with those dining service providers. So depending on your campus, we can have that. We kind of work side by side with them as partners. They will use our platform, and we support them in helping getting everything configured through the different services and stuff. So there is some agreements between the companies, between Transact and the dining service provider. So if you are interested, please reach out through the different channels here. We can take a look at your specific campus and get in touch with the right people.
Fantastic. Next question is for Carla. Carla, is your off-campus program self-op, or do you use Campus Cash with Transact?
We're going self-op right now. We're going to try it on our own. We just wanted to have that face-to-face and that real community contact, with our off-campus merchants, since they're so close to campus. I mean, Georgia Tech, if you've ever been to our campus, we're just bordered by, many, eating establishments, goods and services. So we wanted to have that personal contact to begin. Now, as we grow, and my intent, my vision is for us to grow. Once it gets a little bit too big for me and my staff, then we'll probably pull in the Campus Cash team. But for, just to start, we're going it on our own to start.
Yeah, and for those that, Jennifer, I was going to say, for those that may not be aware, so Campus Cash is a program with Transact where we can offer services for off-campus merchants, where Transact would help with that relationship and manage the payments and channel all of that through Transact, helping expand the program out for the campus using Transact personnel. So for those that may not know about Campus Cash.
Thank you, Matt.
Yes,
the next question we have is, how long did it take to get your full implementation at your campuses? And are any of you looking to expand past dining?
All right, we'll throw that one to Tamara first. So she started out a little small, right, with 4 locations to kind of get started there.
Right. So I would say that that's completely on you. How fast do you want to roll it out? The team over with Matt that works with Matt, or Matt directly, they're really good at what they do. So they can get you up and running really quick. It's just as fast as you can get the back end stuff and really get it going. They do offer a beta testing if you're not sure how it's going to look in your campus. So you can go into beta testing. You can have select people come in and place orders, and then you can go from there. But it's completely on you, which has been really nice. I haven't felt forced to switch my campus all at once because, like I said before, it is a learning experience. And it's very quick to highlight any problems you may have within a concept.
So Melody, I think we had to go pretty quick with yours because, again, that 100% requirement that you were coming out with, and you had 10, 12 locations, I believe, that were coming online.
Yeah, implementation took 31 days. I do not recommend it. I probably lost a lot of sleep knowing that we had X amount of days left. So I definitely encourage, more planning, the better, just so that you have more time to test things out, have a longer soft launch. So there's definitely, it's definitely a lot of work, and if you have the right resources to be able to launch it in such a short period of time, then great. But ideally, I'd probably say, if I had more time, I'd probably say 2 to 3 months is more ideal for me to roll out a mobile ordering, but we were able to successfully roll it out in 31 days.
Just because we can doesn't mean we should, right? I mean, I was involved in a couple ones this past year, right? It was an explosion over that past summer where I was involved in some implementations that we had to get, 3 locations or so up and running in 2 weeks, right? So it can be done. And as Tamara mentioned, the campus has to really be motivated to help out. I know, Carla, that was a big one with yours. Your campus was very involved with the implementation.
Absolutely. And, mobile ordering was the last thing we did with the mobile ordering app. I mean, the first thing we did was, like we spoke about before, allowing the students to book those check-in reservations through the mobile ordering app. And that was, like Melanie, I think we did it in like 31 days, something like that. And that was 49 residence halls. Each hall had 20 time blocks. And you had 49 different time block configurations, and then you had to get 6,000 students, to download it and book the appointment. And so that was a gargantuan effort, but, working along with your team, Matt, we got it done.
Right.
And then when we got that piece done, then we could move on to kind of the quote unquote smaller fish, but yeah.
I hope my boss is listening to all this wonderful praise y'all are giving me as my evaluation's coming up pretty soon. But now to the second part of that question, Carly, it was talking about implementing beyond dining. And I know you've done some interesting stuff. You've already talked about some of that, which you kind of did a little bit with the check-in piece, but you also have those week of welcome events, right? That come up and using that.
Yeah, absolutely. We, we had the constraints of social distancing and safety last year. So, just like everybody else, you've got your week of welcome events and your week of welcome meals. So we wanted to make sure that those venues, were safe and that the students weren't crowding in. So we did use the mobile ordering app for them to choose between a couple. We usually had, we had breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And you had a choice of 2 events, for each, and you had time slots. So we required the students to book a dining time at each of these events. So you chose your event, and then you chose the time that you wanted to go and dine. And then, of course, when you got there, you tapped in, and we were able to kind of use the capacity management piece, to make sure that the venues were not overrun. So you definitely, housing, residential check-in. And then, wow, and that was way before we even started to allow them to, purchase foods through it.
Yeah. Melody, are y'all looking at anything beyond dining? I know you're mainly in dining, but have you had discussions with other departments on campus about the potentials for Transact mobile ordering?
Not at this time. I think right now it's focused more on dining.
So you're in Tamara. I know mainly you're in the dining operations, kind of the same boat on that one. All right. So there are some really interesting things out there that can be done. We've had other schools that have been using it for textbook distribution as the students would come back for textbook distribution. They're using it, I think, to pay for the replacement card before they even come to the buzz card office or something like that, right? For those types of things, we have them looking at doing donations as they start looking at student groups. So previously those were impersonal, kind of stand out on the quad and give your, put out your table and do the bake sale. Instead, the students want to do it at 2 a.m. on their own device when they're in their rooms and stuff. So we're seeing a lot of that. I think one of the interesting ones I'm interested to see is Greek organizations, because of the technology that we have within the Transact mobile ordering app, where we can actually hide locations based off of a group of users. It's something like Greek organizations where they're taking payments and providing oversights. They're going to be interesting for me trying to look into that. So Jennifer, you got a few more questions that we want to look into?
Yes, we do. So this one is for Melody. Melody, how do you throttle the number of orders per interval or minute by station to be able to handle all of those orders that must be placed in an online environment relative to your staffing?
It's definitely a challenge and it's a learning curve for sure. There is a feature in the order flow where you could update and make changes in terms of how many students can come through and place orders in a certain hour. And also there are ways where you could set item prep time. So it might take me 5 minutes during a busy period to make a pita pocket for a student. So you have that range where you could set during normal mode and then during busy mode, how long it might take to build the order. And also if they add on additional items too, you could also add on percentages. Maybe I'll take 25% extra for you to complete the entire order, or 50, and etc. So there's definitely
Melody,
a lot of features on the dashboard for you to use to update that and try to get to as close to the time frame that you anticipate.
I know, Melody, you and I had a number of conversations about how to put in the throttling and calculate out a lot of those different things that go into that algorithm. We do have some new features even coming out. I think you're going to be excited about max orders in flight, things like that, to also put additional controls in place for the orders that are getting pushed out to the kitchen. So we're excited about those.
Next question we have is, has anyone experienced at your school a downsizing of staff due to going mobile? Or are you expecting to increase this resource and it actually expands jobs?
I can kind of take that because we're just starting. So some would expect it to kind of, you lose jobs, right? But we've actually expanded because with, for example, our Canyon Pizza Company on campus, they offer delivering. So now we have a need for those delivery people especially during busy times and all that. So we've actually increased staffing to take care of all the deliveries and prepping and all that stuff, because a lot of our kids, like I said, are really excited about using mobile ordering on campus where they don't have to go 10 minutes out of their way to get some food. They can have it prepped, go grab it, and then leave. So.
All right. Melody, Carla, y'all want to jump in on?
Yeah, I was going to chime in. We talked about staffing a little bit earlier, and we had the experience last year, using mobile ordering, where it really kind of exposed some gaps, in our operation, because we got on the best word of, the operations manager, hey, we can handle X number of students, in a given period of time. And when we allowed the students to schedule per that configuration, they started rolling in and the staffing wasn't there. So that meant that our dining partner had to make some changes. So I told Matt, the tool works as it is configured to work, but your operation needs to be nimble enough to change so that it supports what the tool is trying to do. So, like Tamara, we anticipate, an expanse in some of the roles that, were moved away or taken away for COVID, but we expect to see some delivery, via mobile ordering, and just some additional locations, opening on campus because of the availability of mobile ordering, because that'll probably expand late night offerings, and those types of things, when students know that they can just order and go and pick up in the middle of the night instead of having to stand and wait for an order. So that's kind of that safety aspect.
I think one of the things that we've seen with other campuses and stuff, it hasn't necessarily been a reduction in the labor. They change what the labor is doing. So now, instead of having cashiering, because the students are cashiering on their own devices, they're now switching those people to order fulfillment and trying to push out more and more of the products and stuff like that. That's what we're kind of seeing in a lot of trends with a lot of other schools. All right, Jennifer. You got some more?
Yes, absolutely. Oh, we do. The next one is did any of your campuses use a competitor mobile ordering app? And if so, what made you change to Transact's mobile ordering app?
Yeah, I'll take that one first. We did, yeah, we had the big T before, and just really did not. I think our issue is that we did not have the visibility to our data. It was very, very difficult, to get your, daily, weekly, monthly reports, and there was just always a discrepancy there, and just kind of a lack of ready support. So when we, heard about, you hear about the products at conference before they're actually released, that piqued my interest immediately to be able to provide the same service, but to have ownership of my data very readily. That was really kind of the first thing that I was interested in with mobile ordering.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the approaches that Transact has with the mobile ordering app is we view it as the school's app. So it's your app, your colors, your logos, your images, your voice, because you can configure a lot of that stuff, right? You're controlling the inbox messages and the push notifications and everything, but then you have access to all that data about your users' ordering habits and stuff. There's some really neat stuff. We could probably do a whole nother segment on just using the user data portions of mobile ordering and what you get out of it. So Tamara, Melody, I think y'all didn't have anything before, right? So, all right, Jennifer.
All right, next question as I'm scrolling through here, because we have quite a lot. Do you offer on your campuses the mobile app to the general public? And, if so, what kind of led you to that decision?
Are any of y'all doing
We
that?
do not. We do not. No, we don't. We don't. I'll just leave it there.
I can speak for a couple of different campuses that have enabled it. So the mobile ordering app does allow for guest registrations through email, Apple, Facebook, Google sign-ins and stuff. A lot of what they're seeing is they might have contracted vendors. So the Transact mobile ordering app is really built to use the single sign-on, use a SAML 2 authentication. So using the university credentials to log in. And there are still roles on a campus that may not have that single sign-in authentication, but they're still on campus and they still want them to be able to process mobile orders because that's how they were going to be able to do this. So the key there is that those that are registered via the email, basically non-SSO authentications, can only pay with a credit card. So in order to use the student campus card, whether that is for your meal plans of using a meal exchange or cash equivalency, or the stored valued accounts that can be used within mobile ordering, those require that single sign-on because we don't allow anyone to just manually type in a card number for security purposes. So the campuses that are doing it is because they have some roles that don't have those university logins, but they still want them to be able to participate with mobile ordering. All right, Jennifer, you said they're rolling in.
All right, they are absolutely rolling in. So one of the questions that they had is, is all of the payment and the order and everything done through the app, or when you get there, do you actually have to use your phone or a credit card to pay for the order?
So who wants to take that one? Whoever comes off mute first.
Well, so yeah, at Georgia Tech, everything is paid, through the app ahead of time. We accept meal plan swipes through the app. We accept, stored value accounts through the app. And then of course, credit cards are available as well. So everything is prepaid. And then when you get to the location, then you are basically kind of, showing a QR code at pickup. It's just that quick, but it's prepaid before you even get to the location. And of course, all along the way, you're getting messaging from the app letting you know that your order has been received, your order has been prepared, your order is ready. Pick up, at a certain location. So you're getting all these instructions through the app, but it's prepaid before you get there.
Hey, Melody, I know yours was a big one, but were you doing anything, Carla mentioned the QR code. Were you scanning at your locations to record the pickup time?
Yes.
Okay,
The only place where we did not have to scan is through the deliveries for students in quarantine and
Right.
isolation.
gotcha. And that was a big key, right? So that gives you the data points of when that student has picked up that order, making sure if there is something with it, you've got all that data again on the back end. So, and Tamara, are y'all scanning the QR code for when they're picking up?
Yeah, kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
So they would scan and pick up, but the people that wouldn't scan were deliveries for our quarantine kids.
I think pretty universal. Everybody is in agreement, especially with mobile ordering. I'd rather get payment up front before I start making any product at all, right? So the app's going to say, until we receive a valid payment, we're not going to send it to the kitchen, right? Because in case there's no shows or whatever. So pretty much universally, it's been, yeah, we want the payment up front before we start even, start making the dough or something for the pizza. So, all right, Jennifer.
Yeah, absolutely. So our next question is, what percentage of your sales are from your meal plan funds, and what percentage do you have from credit and debit?
I mean, I can go first with my limited amount, but when you compare, so that's one of the nice things about the mobile ordering website. If you wanted to pull up reports or anything like that, it has a little graph and it shows you how many people are actually using credit cards and all that. And I would say we're close to like 95% of students using the app versus our facility or teachers using the app and using a credit card. So it's a big gap of who's actually using it and what they're using for payment.
I think, well, Melody, with you, I think that was pretty evident in your situation. I think meal swipes were a big one, or the meal plan was a big one on yours. I mean, what we're seeing across the board, when we look at the data, is credit cards are running about 3% of the total sales in that. The 97%, very similar. Tamara, you were close. We'll give you a kind of Price is Right, close, but we'll still let you win on that one. On how many of those are campus type fund transactions. All right, Jennifer, next one.
Okay. Let's see. Going through here, because there are quite a lot coming and popping up as we go. So one of the questions, there was actually a couple of different ones, and I'm going to answer this one, is, can we see a visual of the product, or how can we kind of take a look at what Transact mobile ordering is? So one of the things I'm going to be putting inside of the chat box here in just a moment is, what is our Transact mobile ordering solution experience demo? So if you would like to sign up for our experience demo and be able to peruse the Transact mobile ordering app, just like a student, you will see a URL in the link here in the chat box, and you can go ahead and sign up, and we'll be able to put you in there so you can actually demo it just like you would at your school. So now back to the panelists, now that I've done my 30-second plug of commercial.
Thank you, Jen, for that public service announcement.
I know, thank you for the PSA. Do any of the schools plan on opening the mobile ordering to staff and faculty in the near future?
Ours already is. Anybody that can SSO in, faculty and staff have a faculty staff dining funds account that's available to them as well to use through the app, as well as they can present credit card as well.
It's the same here at Tufts University as well. So for all faculty and staff members that want to dine on campus, they have to download the app and utilize it that way.
And for us, it's of course the same. Transact can filter out what kind of emails you want to accept. So we have opened up our allotted users to have our gcu.edu or gce.edu. We're kind of split, but anyone with that email can sign up and use a credit card or debit card if they don't have student dining.
Okay. And now, real quickly, I'm going to jump in with a question here, because Tamara, you brought up a good little piece there about being able to segment. And I know, Melody, you and I have been having a lot of talks about loyalty programs and stuff. And when we think about faculty and staff, so what kind of things are you potentially looking at to help drive faculty and staff to potentially use this? Or even with your students, I know you did the 12 days of gifting there at the holidays. I think you also did some loyalty stuff around Valentine's Day. But what type of programs might you be looking at to help drive engagement within the app with the loyalty rewards stuff?
So once we were more comfortable with the app, we had to think about how to engage the users, as many students had well over 100,000 points. I mean, today I opened the app for the 10th day in a row and I got 50 points. So,
Yeah.
And all I had to do was open the app. We experimented with the loyalty rewards program in December and into the spring semester. As you mentioned, Matt, we did start with a promo called the 12 days of giveaways. We had over 6,500 entries over the course of 2 weeks, and we gave out rewards daily. We were able to set like points entry. So for this one, it was 5,000 points per entry. We experimented with push notification, inbox messaging, and home announcements, and it was extremely successful. There is actually a feature in the dashboard where you could see message analytics on the mobile ordering dashboard, and it shows you how many users have opened the inbox messages. This semester alone, we ran a few giveaways. So we had Valentine's Day giveaway, which we marketed through inbox messaging only. We had over 1,800 entries in 4 days. Some prizes that we incorporated were house-made chocolate-covered strawberries, chocolate bombs, mini heart waffle makers, and a fondue pot. In addition, we had other giveaways that included prizes like the Bluetooth speakers, t-shirts and frisbees, and camping mugs. We had one winner who actually used up all of her points, and she said she had probably over 100,000 points. But between all 3 giveaways, we had over 7,200 entries.
Wow.
We are definitely looking to have more robust loyalty program this fall semester. Including happy hour specials, punch cards, upselling features. Students love freebies. So in order to continue to have this mobile app to be successful, we'll need to continue to add value by rewarding users.
Yeah, and that's going to be coming out, right? That's some of the new stuff that is coming out through Transact mobile ordering, is a lot of updates to the loyalty rewards, because we realize that's a big piece to it. Digital punch cards to automated checkout codes in a reward store for you to build your own loyalty type program. And I know, Melly, we talked through a lot of that. So I'll expect my waffle maker in the mail anytime soon there. Or I'll at least start ordering from your campus if you open it up to off-campus people, so I can earn it. Carla, are there anything that you're looking at with loyalty rewards? Because I know you're already doing some promotional stuff through inbox messages.
Well, I'm listening to Melody, and I've got to call you after this, because I just,
There you go.
as I stated, tech dining is kicking off as, a self-operated business in the fall. And I know that our marketing person, really wants to make a big splash. And I've been, definitely talking about, hey, let's do, the loyalty, let's do the rewards. But I mean, it goes deeper than I even thought. I mean, just listening to Melody, all the things that you guys are doing. So I'm definitely going to reach out and talk about, some of the opportunities that you've taken advantage of to engage the students. We were going to do some things, with the kids coming in for fall and introducing them, but you've gone to another level. So I'm excited.
Well, there's a link in the chat that you can tell all your dining people to go to, and they can experience mobile ordering and see the new loyalty stuff in there. So
absolutely,
it's a fun way to do it.
Absolutely, yeah. And that link, once you sign up for it, we'll receive it. We'll be able to add you to the experience, and someone will reach out to you. When you go to it, make sure you look for Transact University when you download the app. We have just a few minutes left, and we have a couple of questions that I wanted to make sure we got to. So one of the things is, what kind of device is needed to check in when they make a reservation, and what happens if they arrive early or if they arrive late?
I know Melody and Carla, y'all were doing reservations.
Right. Yeah. So, you've got your phone, of course, and you've got a Surface tablet that sits at each location. And when you create your reservation, of course, it's going to write to the database, and then you'll see your reservation kind of pop up on the Surface tablet. So staff there kind of knows who's coming. And so when you get there, you just present your phone to the tablet. It matches it up. It says, oh, Carla's here. And then that's it. Now, Melody talked a lot about the configuration, inside mobile order, and you can set lead times, and you can allow your patron to be a little late or not late at all. So depending upon what your configuration is, it could be that if they're late 30 seconds, they just can't get in, but then you might give them 5 minutes of grace, and they can get in. So it just kind of all depends on how you have the tool configured. It is just that flexible that you can really tailor it to what your needs are.
And just to add on to what Carla said, because we do the exact same at Tufts University, if we wanted to allow students to come in early, there's that option as well. Sometimes students accidentally forget, that they didn't know they reserved it at this time, and we just let them in early, especially if we're able to.
All right. Jennifer, you said you had a couple more?
Yeah, we have 5 minutes to go. So let's see if we can't get
All right.
one more out of the way.
Good questions.
I know there's a lot of great questions, and just trying to sit here and go through with it. All right. So how do you receive the orders? So from an operator side, is it a website that you receive the orders? Is it a kitchen printer? So how does that kind of work?
Tamara, you want to take
Yeah.
that since you're a lot on that technology side?
Yeah, for sure. So once the student puts the order in, it hits the mobile web, but it goes to, like Carla was saying, a Surface tablet. And then from there, it's up to you. So you can set up a kitchen printer, it'll print right there. Or if you have an existing KDS with monitors and screens, Transact can help you integrate those so that the order pops up on there. So if you have a production line or a line of people getting food ready, they don't have time to go grab a ticket, and it pops up on that screen, and you can go from there. So there's a lot of options as far as the way it looks on how you receive it and then how you process it. So it's really easy to integrate it with what you already have. And a lot of our concepts have liked that it kind of just goes with the flow. It doesn't feel like it's off. It's a one-off. So it's been great.
Yeah, I think the key there is, Transact mobile ordering is actually integrated into your cloud POS point of sale system, right? With Transact. And that's what makes it very beneficial that all the orders, whether they're coming from a register or maybe a self-service kiosk or mobile ordering, they're showing on the same kitchen printer or the same kitchen display system for the back of the house, right? For the meals to be prepped, regardless of how that order comes in. So I think that's a big key and what's big beneficial with Transact mobile ordering. So Jennifer, I think that's going to be pretty much our time here as we're coming up right at the end. I want to say a special thank you to Melody, Tamara, and Carla for joining us and providing some wonderful information on your campuses and how you're using Transact mobile ordering. Thank you everyone for joining today. Hopefully you got a great information and it was very informative. It sounds like Carla's got some follow-up to do with Melody on some loyalty stuff. And again, if you are interested in more information about Transact, follow the link in the chat to sign up for the Transact mobile ordering experience, and also visit www.transactcampus.com. Thank you very much for joining. Kevin, back to you.
Matt, thanks very much. And thanks to all the panelists. A really interesting conversation. It really makes me want to go back to college and get myself a meal card, especially Tufts with some of those incentives. I'd be loyal. So no, I think there was really a great some great insights for the audience. And let me say to the audience that if you have a question that wasn't answered, someone from Transact will definitely follow up with you directly. We have all of your information. So to reiterate, I'd like to thank our presenters today for a very informative presentation. And of course, thanks to all the audience members for really making this a robust conversation. That was really terrific. As a reminder, you'll get an email within the next few days that contains a link to this recording along with the slides. Thanks again for participating, and I hope everyone has a great rest of the day.